Hey, this is James from Beatallica. I'm just hanging out here talking about the new Beatallica record, Abbey Load. Abbey Load has been around as an idea, as a concept, probably since before Masterful Mystery Tour. When you're thinking about Abbey Road, Beatle-wise, you have to do the two medleys. Otherwise, why do it? But there's other songs on the album that are pretty important. You know, you're talking about using things like Come Together. And so we wanted to start our album out with that. Medleys are later. It's not necessarily that you want to do everything from Abbey Road on Abbey Load, because Beatallica's already worked with I Want You, She's So Heavy. So we're not going to do that again. What's going to take its place? So we started thinking about what songs would be a proper tune, appropriate for the vibe of the album. The biggest thing that I struggled with the medley, both medleys, because there's two, was the tempos. How do the tempos jive with each other? Because you're going, the Abbey Road medley is 5 tunes. So you got to go bang, 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 because there's 4 transitions. Then there's the Golden Slumbers medley. You listen to the way the Beatles did it, and some of their cuts are very stark, like going from Carry That Weight to the end. If you listen to that cut, it's meant to sound like you just ran into a truck. Well, how are we doing that with the tempos of what we're playing now? And also, just working with, okay, what keys are the Beatles using compared to what we're going to use? Are we going to end this song in particular in a major happy way, or are we going to end it with just that little bit of minor or dissonance or whatever within it? I think once we got into the actual structures of the songs themselves, that was almost the easier part for me. It was the tempos and how are we going from one to another without that break in between each song. When Beatallica starts to get together to actually work together, we just discover that we started doing the addition here on songwriting, and this goes also into a little bit of another topic about how maybe some of the general public doesn't realize that we actually songwrite and do other projects that are doing all sorts of different things. The amount of songwriting experience and collaborative experience between the 4 band members, gets to be near 100 years worth of experience. There's just a misconception about Beatallica that it's a cover band. We learn about each other just how much each other knows, which is why I think it was great that Kliff did more songwriting work on the record. I think another interesting thing is that when Gerg does his soloing work, he does it at his studio. We worked at 2 studios on Abbey Load. I still can't even get it straight. Gerg starts putting down his own stuff, and he's working at like 4 in the morning, whatever, and we don't know what he's doing. He just mails us these files. We start inserting them. And so sometimes I wonder what goes through his head when he's doing this. I would love to know more about that. But whatever he's doing is working, whether it be with us in the studio at the same time or not. Look, there's a progression within Beatallica itself to get to this point. We started out with the Sgt. Hets thing, and then did the Blood thing, and the Masterful thing, and the Fun Plunder Band thing. How is the band progressing to get to this point? Are they going the right way? We think so. We hope you think so. Besides that, there's all these other relationships. It's not just musical relationships between the 4 musicians or dealing with an engineer. You're dealing with your label folks and their partner label folks, their distro folks. We're dealing with licensors, and that's always been a huge issue, and people know that. We work with the licensors as best we can. There's no cantankerous relationships going on here. Everyone's okay. We pay heed to what they need, and it allows us to put out Beatallica records, as long as we can put them out, and we obviously have really good relationships with Metallica and folks on the Beatles side too, Thanks for hanging out with me a little bit, hearing a little bit about the making and the history of Abbey Load. We're going to be out on the road. We want to see you guys wherever you may be. But until then, you can always keep in touch with us on the web, Beatallica.org. Our Facebook, Facebook.com/Beatallica. It's easy. Same thing with Twitter, /Beatallica. You can even sign up on our email list, Beatallica@sbcglobal.net. We want to keep in touch with you just like always. So until then, stay hesh.